In this 49-minute video, you'll learn how to create a 360 animation using Mettle SkyBox for After Effects. Hello and welcome to another tutorial. This time we are going to learn how to create a 360 video. It's going to be a really simple one. It's not going to be as complex as the one I'm showing here, but it's going to be similar. It's going to be just the basics to achieve this effect. So, alright, as you can see here, you can just play around, and if you have a cardboard or an VR headset, it's going to look really cool. So, well, let's just dive into After Effects. Okay, here in After Effects we are going to create a new composition, but this time we aren't going to create it through this to this menu here. We are going to go into File, Scripts, and we are going to be using SkyBox Creator. This doesn't comes bundled with After Effects. This is actually a plugin that you can find at the Mettle website. So you go into mettle.com, you search for SkyBox Creator. It's going to come as a full suite. I have the version 1. They are already in the 2.0 version, I think. So I don't know. I hope this is still applies to the new version. What we are going to do here is that we are going to create a new SkyBox master. For this, we are going to use a size of 1024 by 1024. We have a bunch of options here, but since we are going to be using this is going to look like an equirectangular video. So that means that what we are going to see here when we hit create, let's leave it at 30 seconds, and let's leave this check. I am using 3D plugins, create SkyBox master. Move this to the side. What we're going to have here is a composition with this size, but if we click into generate SkyBox output, what we're going to have is this, an equirectangular output that which size is this. So this is a little bit more than 4K, so we don't want to just make the computer suffer. We are going to work with this size, so we have a 4K output, more or less. So let's go back to the original composition here, and well, it creates a bunch of cameras here, of course, one for every, this is like a box. So a box has 6 sides, so there is a camera for each one. So okay, we can ignore this. We can just try guide these layers. We can just click here and boom, they're gone. Okay, so now what we are going to do is that we want to have some shapes similar to this, and for that we are going to use we're going to create a solid here, and we are going to create, okay, we're going to call it Mir. We're going to apply an effect, Trapcode Mir. We are going to use this effect, this plugin by Trapcode, which is going to generate a bunch of geometry, just plain geometry that we are going to use. It has some advantages. This one is this effect is GPU, it uses the GPU, so it's a bit faster than using CPU only. It is really a lot faster. And okay, so we have it here. This is by default what we get, but we are going to modify it. I have a bunch of default thing is okay. Let me check. All right, what we are going to do is first we are going to move this thing really far away. Well, not that much, just there is fine. We are going to rotate the x-axis minus 90, and in the y-axis we are minus 30, and z-axis we are going 90. Okay, this doesn't look like anything as of now, but it'll get better, I promise. Okay, now we are going to increase the size in the x-axis. We're going to go 15,000 or so. Then we are going to go in the y-axis. We are going with 1500. And okay, we have this thing that still doesn't look like anything. But what we are going to do is that we are going to use this bend tool, this bend parameter here. We want to close this gap. It's bending, it's forming like a tunnel or a tube. So I discovered that this is just fine. It closes the gap at 0.27. That's what we're using. We then reposition the center, so it looks like, yeah, it's right in the middle. And all right, just more or less, that's, yeah, this is fine, I guess. Okay, so well, now that we have this, we are going to increase the the vertices in the x-axis. So we want a lot more. We want 100, and in the y-axis we want really just a few of them. So if you see here, it is kind of the number of sides of the thing. This is 5, so we have to just take one number of that. So we are going to have, for example, if we have 4 vertices here, well, strangely we have, okay, this is going to look like, all right, 1, 2, 3, and 4. Yeah, we are closing it, so that's why we have 4, but it looks like we had 3. Okay, so you get the point. Now what we are going to work with is the shader. We are going to change density for flat. Well, looks all white. Okay, let's imagine that this looks good. Then proceed to change the blend. Let's just do it normal. Select normal and add ambient occlusion. So this is only in shader. We are going to move to fractal after, but just keep it there. Now we have the material, and we are going to select color. I don't know, let's go with some purple or so. So yeah, something like this. And now okay, the material, yeah, nothing more, no texture, no repeater, and then visibility. Well, this is like, you see that white thing right there? It is because of this. So we can decrease we can increase the fog. Okay, how is this? Yeah, we can decrease the start of the fog. It's actually adding some really nice fog here. It looks good. We can change the color if we want. So we add some bluish like this. And okay, to fill this gap, we can add a new layer, new solid, and we just select this color here and put it in the background, and boom, there we have it. And okay, but this doesn't look much like what we had here. This is a lot. This is low. Okay, this isn't looking like this at all. So okay, we are going to add a few lights to this. So we go to new light. We are going to first add an ambient light, which is going to have 100% of intensity. And well, it does nothing, but it's going to do something later, I promise. Then we are going to add a point light, and I'm going to just let it be 15% of intensity. And the position, we're going to move it. So, okay, where is this? All right, here it is. Let's just move it. Let's just change the value while pressing Shift, so you can move it a lot, really quickly. So we have something like this. It still doesn't look good, so let's press Ctrl Shift Y, and let's just crank these values up. Let's go with 50. 50% of intensity for the point light. Let's just name this point light, and let's call this ambient light. Right? And okay, we can change the colors of here, the material. Let's pick bluish maybe. So right, this isn't looking bad, I guess. And okay, we can try again, changing the values, here. Just finding the right spot. Okay, yeah, this looks pretty cool, actually. Let's just change the values until you just like what you see. Okay, go back to 50. And okay, we have something cool here. We might change again the fog color so it's a little bit greener. And let's change this again. So Control Shift Y. Let's change this color again. So it looks like this. And there you go. Now we can click here on the refresh SkyBox output. Just check that this checkbox is checked. And yeah, we hit on refresh. We have something like this. It's not moving, it's not doing anything. It's just 360 projection of what we did. Okay, we can make a few changes. As you see here, there's this gap that doesn't look too good. We can change it by going into the band X, just going a little bit more, just 28 maybe, and let's just refresh the output. And yeah, we check here and it's fine. So with this just done, I think we can move on to do something more cool. I don't know, something cooler. Yeah, let's just try something different. Let me see. We can actually add some text or add some 3D objects. Maybe we can link this with Cinema 4D or something. And that's what we are going to do next. Okay, now that we have this equirectangular output, we can make a few changes so this looks more fun. We can go here into the Mir object, and remember the fractal that I told you before that we were going to check? Well, this is the time to do it. We are going to do something to animate the evolution of this. If you see here, if we move the slider of the evolution, it does a pretty cool tiny movement. You know, it's like it's moving, it's a little bit of noise, and it really it helps here. I mean, I did some audio reaction things here, so this reacts to the music. What we are going to do is that we are going to drag a song I have here. So let's just import this audio mp3. We're going to drag it into the composition, and we are going to add a new layer, a new solid that is going to be, it's going to be invisible, so the color doesn't matter, but it's going to be the sound keys. So we are going to use an artifact by Trapcode called Trapcode Sound Keys, and we are going to select the audio layer to be audio mp3, the one we just added, and we are going to we're going to draw here. We're going to draw a range, and what this is going to do is that, okay, we are going to keep track of this part of the spectrum, which are mostly, yeah, these are the bass and the low frequencies of the song, and we're going to link this to the evolution of the mirror object or the mirror layer. So okay, you can select any part of the song that you like, but in this case, well, we have a really nice variation here, so that's what we are using. So okay, we are going to select a region here where the spectrum is changing, and after that we are going to click here in range 1, and we are going to tell it, okay, the output is going to be from 0 to 100. Okay, I guess that's fine. And when we have these things just checked, we are going to hit apply. And what this does is that if we hit U here, we are going to see that it added a bunch of keyframes with the output of the sound keys. So okay, we can just go back to the mirror. We can hit alt click into the evolution, and we can drag this icon here, this big whip, into the output one from the sound keys, and we hit intro, and if we play this back, okay, we can, let's hide this sound keys layer. We don't need it anymore. We don't need it visible. And okay, we are previewing this. Let's take a look at how this looks. Well, it might be too much, maybe, but okay, it looks good. If we want, we can just take this down. So the output, we can customize it. We can tell a key telling here that, okay, this is going to be custom, and the minimum is going to be 0 and the maximum is going to be 10. We click apply again, so the changes are reflected. We take a look again, and okay, it's a little bit softer. It is calm. It is, yeah, well, all that. Let's take a look. Well, it's reacting and it looks good to me, so let's move on. Okay, what's next? Well, we can actually add another effect to the mirror, and we can go here into the scroll X. I think is the scroll X. Yeah, we can animate this, and we can animate this not by just clicking here, moving to the last frame, and okay, just moving this. We can do it a little bit different. We can add here the scroll X. We can alt click and we can tell it, okay, this is going to be time. Time by, I don't know, 100. And what this does is that it takes into account the time that it is playing, you know, like the frames, I guess. And what this does is that it's animating on every frame time plus, no, not plus, time times 100. And well, we have this basic animation with just this line of code. Alright, so what can we do now? We can add some text. We can add some text here just to test it. So let's just call it, alright, 360 videos. And let's resize this. And just move it. We can align this using this tool, so it's in the very center. And okay, we can just scale it, and we can make it a 3D layer. Clicking here, and all right, where did it go? Let's change the position. Oh, here it is. So 360 videos. You can make an animation if you want. You can animate it from very far away and just moves it here. Add some easing or whatever. Let's just press L here and take the levels a little bit down. Maybe less 8 or something. Okay. Alright, we can look back to see where it is. Alright, we can move it a lot more, so just make sure that you reset the camera before doing this, or just select another custom view or something so you can test it. Alright, okay, so we can move it really far away to the back. We go back to the active camera, take a look again, and alright, this is looking like this. 360 videos, and it moves. Right, you can also make it slower or so you can appreciate it for longer. Okay, let's just save this just in case. So let's just call it episode 4. And all right, now that we have all this, we just select here. Okay, create a skybox from current composition. This is skybox master. We are working on it, so just select that one and click on refresh skybox output. And what you can see here is that animation converted or projected into this equi-rectangular thingy. Okay, so well, this part is done. Now we can move, and I think we can do something cool using Cinema 4D, so let's just dive in. So now that we are in Cinema 4D, what we are going to use is this heart that I did a while ago for that same video. And I have this 3D model on Cinema 4D that is going to be available in the description, so you can just download it and work from here. And okay, it's just some basic geometry and 2 lights, a physical sky. It has a physical sky and 1 light, and it also has global illumination here on, so it looks just a little bit better. It's not perfect, but it helps just to it has that flat style, flat look. So I really liked it, and I hope you also will. So okay, with this as a starting point, what we can do is that we can animate this heart and maybe another heart to along spline. So okay, just watch me do it with the first one, and then I explain how I do it overall. Okay, so okay, we are going to go into the Mo graph. We're going to go in cloner, and I learned from a video from Grayscale Gorilla that in order to use a few factors from here from the Mo graph tool, you could just wrap your object in this factor in this cloner. So we move it into the cloner. We are going to tell it, right, we're just going to do one copy of that, so we just have the original, and it just flip this. We can just uncheck this fixed clone thing, and we are back to normal. And with this this way we can just go into effector and click into spline, and right, well, first we need to create a helix that we can find it right here. So okay, let's just zoom out a little bit. We have this helix, and we are going to change the radius from 200 to 20 or something like that, so it is smaller, and the end angle can be 360. And right, what else do we need? The start radius, the end radius, let's just take it to 0. And I think this is fine. Okay, so now we are going to select the spline, and we're going to add the helix here into the spline. And the spline property here into a factor from the spline layer. And now just by doing that, the heart is going to be linked into that spline. So if we change the offset here, you'll see that the heart is moving along that path, along that spline. So what we can do now is that we can just move. Okay, we're going to work, right, we are animating like 30 seconds, so we can try to do this, I don't know, let's just go 900 frames, and we are going to, on the first frame, we're going to control click here into the offset, and then we are going to move to the last frame, and we are going to type here 100, and we are going to control click here to add another keyframe. So that way we are animating right here. So okay, it is there. You can hit F8, just the function 8 key on your keyboard to play. Just here's the shortcut. Okay, now what we can do is we can take the cloner and we can make some animation to the heart itself. We can go here into the transform tool, and we can animate, alright, not the transform tool, maybe the object tool. Damn it, no, it's not that. Let's change here in coordinates, and here, yeah, here we can change the rotation of the heart. So we are going to move from 0 at the beginning to maybe, I don't know, 180 at the end. Control click again, so we can have some movement like this, like a rotation. It could be a full spin, maybe something like that will work. And maybe just adjust how it ends. So we go from here to here. Okay, that looks, yeah, fine. Well, let's just, now that this is done, we can create a null object and we can add all of them to that null. And this null is going to be the heart animation. And I think we can duplicate this just by copying and pasting, and maybe we can rotate this. Oh no, let's just rotate the helix. I think we can do that. We can rotate the helix and 180, and let's just see that animated. All right, looks nice. Let's just take a look at the cloner and let's just fix this so it doesn't look too bad. Yeah, something like that is fine. Another thing that we can change is that we don't want them to collide at the end, just to merge at the end. So we can go into the helix and we can change a few parameters, maybe in the end radius. So move it a little bit so they're a bit apart. And we can also change the height, maybe more or less. Yeah, something like this. Like that will be fine. So okay, let's just go back to where we were. And now let's just create, we can create a camera. So we're going to click here, add camera object. And for 360 videos, we need it to be, the focal length should be 18. And well, the field of view horizontal should be 90. And we're going to click here to just check how the camera is seeing the scene. And okay, and we can move the camera a little bit, just right here, and we can displace it. We can change its position till it reaches somewhere near here. We can change the Y position, something like this. And alright, we are not seeing anything. Probably it's looking back. So let's just type here 180. And well, I did nothing here. This wasn't the one. Yeah, this one. Let's just go to the back. 180, so let's go to 0. And okay, here are the hearts. We can change the position, so this one goes here. We can make a few changes if we want, just to make them look okay. Yeah, something like this will do the trick. Let's just change this again, the helix of the heart. Let's just change the height, maybe the end radius. Okay, guess that's fine. Okay, we can here save an incremental version of this. And okay, I think we are ready to move into After Effects. Here in After Effects now we have to import what we did. So we have this heart, we import it as a Cinema 4D file. Here it is. And now we can drag it just as if it was a normal layer. What we have here is a software preview in After Effects. We can change here for standard final, and this will just merge those two things and it will show up here. But let's try to just select here SkyBox Master, and let's try to refresh the SkyBox output. And you'll see something weird happening here. And that problem is that we have a lot of different hearts, and they are being applied on every single like side of that cube that forms this equirectangular map. So what we need to do is we need to check here in the hard layer. We have to select, okay, in project settings, the camera that we are using is not going to be the Cinema 4D camera. We have to use the same camera that is working here. So let's try something here. If we select the Centercom camera, okay, we are not seeing anything. But if we click here and refresh SkyBox output, let's see what happens. Okay, we have our two hearts here. Let's just move on the timeline a little bit. And okay, they are right there. Okay, there's another thing that we can change here. We can go to the, okay, what can we do here? We can reorient the camera view, the y-axis. We can tell it to be 180. And all right, they are showing up. Okay, it's taking a long time to render just one frame, and it's in a quarter quality. Yeah, so, well, it's going to look good anyway. Okay, what this does is, okay, what if this hard goes out through this frame, through this, part of the video, it should just come back from this part. So either if we have it just this way, or the camera looking backwards, well, it's only going to change how the camera is going to appear when you open the video. So if you remember this video, the first time you open this up, oh my gosh, this is too slow. Okay, the first time you open this up, it's going to just start in here. But if you take this and just pick 180, what it's going to do is that this is going to be the new front. So, well, I was just doing some weird stuff there, but this is what happens if you just turn this around. If for some reason you did something and you end up looking to the back, well, you can just come here into SkyBox Master output and just change the y-axis in the reorient camera view. Okay, so now that we have this, we can just tell it here to be standard draft or software, so it's a lot faster. And all right, we can refresh that output. It's going to look like this. Yeah, we know it looks awful, but it's fast. That's something good. Okay, and now that we have this, I don't know, we might just, I don't know, should we render this out to see how it goes? Maybe it works, maybe it doesn't. So yeah, I'm going to render this out and I'll let you know. So just remember, select the SkyBox master and just refresh that SkyBox output and let it render and see you then. Oh, okay, before I go, just remember something here. Since this composition is really big, do not render this in QuickTime H.264 because this is going to happen, a settings mismatch. And okay, what it says is that the output file will be resized from 4096/2048 to 2000 by 2000 because yeah, the format, the H.264 format is constrained to this maximum size. So what you need to do is actually change this to animation or some other codec that supports bigger, larger resolutions. So you click here, okay, and I'll let it render, and I'll see you when it finishes. So almost 2 hours later, the render is done, and what we are going to have is this huge file that we have here. Let's check this out. I just realized I did a really just newbie mistake, and the sound, it's really bad. Just hear it. Well, the sound is the problem, and the other problem that we have is this player that I'm using, which is the Windows 10 player. It sucks. Well, most of the time. So let's just open it up with VLC, and as you can hear this, well, it sounds bad, and I'll tell you why. But look, the video is fine. The video is looking really good, actually. It's not 360 yet, but well, you get the idea. So this is actually the equirectangular projection of that spherical video. What we need to do now is actually tell it to be 360 video. So how do we do that? Well, we have to edit the metadata for this file. Google made a tool just for that. So if you go to that URL, I'm linking it on the description, and you go here for in the step 2, prepare for upload, you're going to find that there is this 360 video metadata app for Mac and for Windows, and you can download it. Is this zip file. You're going to unzip it, and you're going to end up with this exe file. So all you have to do is open this up, and we have to select the file that we just created. Well, in this case, it only supports MP4. So what I recommend doing since we already have this MOV, we can just use Handbrake to encode that video again. So we can choose, okay, we just drag it here, and we're going to choose normal, I guess, and we start the encoding. So now that the encoding is complete, we can go and select that file that we just created, and we are going to check this box here, spherical, and we're going to tell it, okay, save as, and let's call it 360 video. We hit save, and it should appear just right here. We can open this video using the Windows app. It sounds terrible. I'm going to show you what my mistake was. The problem here was that, well, we had the audio layer here in the SkyBox master. So you would check here in the SkyBox output. What it does is that it just has a little just visualization. This is the camera looking in every single direction, so front, right, back, left, up, and bottom, and that means that every single composition has the same audio. So basically we have 6 audio tracks in the same composition, so it sounds terrible. What I forgot to do was to actually just disable the audio for that composition here in the SkyBox output, and copy and paste the audio just once, so that way it will have sound much better. But well, since we have it, well, you already know what to do. Okay, what we do here is, well, this is for a new update. This wasn't here before, so we can just drag it around and see what's going on. Another mistake I did, oh look, this is awful, but this is the player, this is the player's fault, I promise. We can open this up on the GoPro app that we have here, and we can just drag it. Yeah, it's the VR player, and it looks much smoother, and it looks pretty cool. So look, this is the 360 videos text that we added, and another mistake I did was the animation for the hearts. I actually did it backwards, so they are getting farther apart from us. So yeah, the idea was the opposite, but well, never mind. So this covers the basics for making a 360 video. I hope you enjoyed it and you find it helpful. So that's it for today. Don't forget to like the video, subscribe, and all that stuff. And if you have any ideas for another tutorial in the future, just let me know in the comments below. And I'll see you guys next Thursday. Bye.